Yes, baby. Oh, Sister
What
D.
up, my nigga?
Yes, happening, my nigga.
No, not to make a joke about it, but Paula Deen, as many of you know, she is from Savannah, and she's a very famous cook who has been known to, you know,
have recipes,
soul food recipes that a lot of people, millions of people enjoy. They buy her cookbooks, they watched her show on Food Network. She has several, I don't know how do you stop a call? Okay. Holla later. But anyway, so, you know, she's pretty famous when it comes to her cooking. And recently, a Caucasian woman, you know, filed a lawsuit against her for sexual harassment. And during that whole case, I guess, it came out that Paula Deen uses a lot of racial slurs
in a joking manner.
When
shit funny.
When she would be, you know, at the restaurant, at the workplace, whether she's talking about employees, whether her Paula Deen and her brother, you know, having little side conversations. But anyway, this Caucasian woman was apparently just in the vicinity of all of this happening, and that was part of her whole case against Paula Deen. You know, is that you have this woman who not only cook black food, but she also has black employees, and for her to, you know, use these racial slurs, and, you know, and think it's a joke, it's really not. It's not a joke at all. So, most recently, so she's losing her endorsements and things like that now with different companies. Food Network suspended her show. I think Walmart has suspended her. The diabetes company or whatever, they just recently, at first they said they was going to keep her on, but then they just recently suspended her contract with them as well.
Right.
Casinos, her casino restaurants have been closed. She's receiving a lot of backlash since this happened. Although they say that her book is selling, you know,
80 times.
Her cookbooks is selling 80 times more than it did before. People are still, you know, apparently supporting her in those efforts or whatever. But as far as her businesses and her image, her reputation and everything has really been scorned now that this has happened. So, what do you think about the whole situation?
I think it's tragic, first of all. I think it's ignorance that of years and years have been overlooked by black and white. You know, just because you have money, you know, the South has always had a backwards mentality. You know, I'm born and raised in the South. I love the South. We've always been, I wouldn't say myself or black America per se, we have our own vices, but white America and in the South had their own vices, and it's held all of us back, not just white, not just black, but it held all of us back. And I think the roosters are coming home to hatch. The roosters are coming home to hatch, like the great Malcolm X would have said. And I think she's getting what she just deserved. You know, they said last year she earned over $17 million off of soul food. Let's not forget where soul food come from. Soul food come from when the master gave the slaves the last portion of the meal. The scraps. And we made something out of nothing. Now she's taking our ancestors' recipes and making a killing off of it.
Right.
And also, not only that, she's using the N-word. I can say nigga. She's using the word nigga like it's a common thing to her. And I know she's 60 or 60 plus years old, and she knows damn well about the civil rights movement. She's not dumb to the civil rights movement, so she knows what she's doing. So I think it's a problem. and she should be scoring for it. I don't care if she's sorry right now. She's got enough money. Move on. But you should learn from this, and your family should learn from this. You know, reparation. That's all I got to say.
Right. Exactly. My viewpoint on the whole situation is that, you know, now she's, I guess from a media standpoint, she's really trying to save, you know, her reputation and her image that she has, because she's losing millions by the day,
right.
You know, with these contracts that's falling through and the endorsements, right. And things like that.
Right.
So, you know, she has hired the lady who the show Scandal is loosely based off of, Judy Smith. She hired her. She's a famous PR, right, African American woman who's handled some very high profile celebrity cases when it comes to crisis management and public relations. She helped Michael Vick out. She helped Monica Lewinsky during that whole situation.
Monica Lewinsky. All the rappers talk about how we know what Monica Lewinsky did.
Anyway, so Judy Smith has Paula Deen has hired her on to help her with the crisis management, just to make sure that her image is just held, right,
held intact.
The little image that she has left, she wants to make sure it's held intact. But one thing that was crazy to me is that she also reached out to, which probably was a suggestion from Judy Smith, she reached out to Jesse Jackson. And of course, you know, anytime, you know, anything dealing with racial issues, either Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson or Andrew Young, one of those individuals will probably be called on to help out or whatever. So
to weather the storm.
Right. So she reached out to Jesse Jackson, and you know, Jesse Jackson agreed to help her, and he basically made a statement to the Associated Press to everyone that we should not use her as a sacrificial lamb, and we should basically forgive her. But my thing is this, I don't know if I'm not going to forgive her. You know, I don't know the lady personally, but why should I forgive her when it's almost like when they say the truth come out when you drink or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes the truth come out. People don't know. She probably thought she could talk that way, even though that, you know, the white lady that was working for her, because of the color of her skin, and she probably thought, you know, she could just say anything around her or whatever. Mm-hmm. So that goes to show that this is how Paula Deen communicates on a regular basis. She's been saying things like this for years. This is nothing new.
This is how she think of black people.
Right. This just happened to be a situation where now, you know, it came out in the open and everybody knows about it. But Paula Deen's from the South. I'm sure she's definitely her upbringing as far as racial issues and civil rights and things like that, you know, probably was not the best type of upbringing. Right. But
she knew better. We know better. She know better.
She knew better, but she just don't care. She didn't care. She just got caught because, like I said, she was comfortable in her environment and being around this lady who was, you know, white. She didn't think, they're probably so far from her mind. But my thing is Paula White. I mean, I don't call her Paula White. Lord Jesus. Not evangelist Paula White, but Paula Deen. My thing is this, and it goes to any other business owner. You have $1 million corporation entity or whatever with the Paula Deen, all the stuff you got going on with cookbooks and things like that.
Right.
As an employee, when I come to your job and try to get a, you know, come to your establishment and try to get a job as a cook or a waitress or whatever at one of your restaurants, I'm sure that me as an employee would have to sign code of ethics paperwork. I probably would have to sign some type of you know, no discrimination,
Right.
no sexual harassment, just all of these things to protect the company from any type of, you know, legal ramifications or anything like that that may come up if me as an employee was to do those things.
Right. Right.
So, as a business owner, how can you not practice what you preach?
Right.
Like, I don't understand that. You can't be somebody who has employees.
Right. And also, she is also an employee of the company that she's accepting endorsements of. And she should follow the policy. You know,
Right.
from the Walmarts to several other companies that uses her as an endorsement. You know that's not accepted, because African Americans also support these companies that is supporting you. And we should look at whoever's supporting her, do we want to support them to this day?
Exactly.
Walmart has dropped her, we know that. Several companies casinos have dropped her, we know that. But it's companies that standing firm towards her. I think she got a cruise line coming out. They have doubled her. Yeah, they have doubled her cruise. They gave 2 cruise lines to her. So we need to find out what company is endorsing her, and we should take back our endorsement of these companies. What I mean by take back our endorsement,
Don't buy the product.
do not support.
Don't support it. Right.
Right. And also, she used the brown paper bag theory. If you was light skinned, you worked in the front. If you were dark skinned, you worked in the back.
Right.
And you know, as black people, we've been fighting this with amongst ourselves, and not long should we fight it with another race of people.
Right.
So I think that should be brought up also.
Right. It's
Damn you, Paula Deen.
Right. I mean, Paula Deen, whatever the hate and whatever you have for African Americans, it's so deep rooted.
Right.
It's so deep rooted that you don't realize that
Ignorance.
you're doing it. Right.
Straight up
Although you
ignorance.
apologize or whatever, it's just part of who you are. It's a part of your culture, you know,
Right.
that you grew up in or
Right.
whatever. You know, like I said, you grew up in the South where slavery and all of that,
Jim
civil
Crow
rights,
era.
is just the Jim Crow era. I mean, this is just where it all happened at. So it's like, it's so deep rooted. I don't think you would change. I think you just trying to save face now. You
she
know,
didn't shed a tear.
right?
She didn't shed a tear when she talked to Matt Lyon. She rubbing on the man's knee and everything, like, please give me my money back. But she didn't shed a tear. She didn't. To
Right.
me, it wasn't remorseful.
Right.
That when she spoke to Matt Lyon about this situation. She just wanted her endorsements back.
Right.
And I don't. We as black people, we lose a lot, and we have to get up every morning and put on that face like we haven't lost nothing.
Right.
You just lost a couple of meals, and I
Right.
think I don't have no remorse for it right now.
Right. And one point I wanted to make out too, with the young lady that, you know, brought forth these accusations or whatever. I'm wondering, like, hopefully they will put, you know, basically make it into a civil action lawsuit so that other people who may have been employees of Paula Deen can come forward. But the thing is, like, why didn't the African American, the black people that work for her say anything? Because I'm sure they probably heard jokes from her before in the past while working, you know, and just kind of like, well, I don't want to lose my job, or, you know, probably working for little or nothing, but don't want to lose their job, so they don't want to say anything. But, you know, someone should have stood up prior to this even happening.
Right.
And I just want to say, if you're in that situation and you work for a company or just around some racist bigots, you know, just out and about, you as a black individual do not have to stand forward. I mean, it's unfortunate that we always think about, of course we got to think about our family and make sure we can continue to bring money in to support our kids and things like that. And, you know, we try to outweigh the good with the bad and see, you know, if I do set it off in here, what would be the consequences for me? But I'm a firm believer, if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything. And you just have to be passionate about certain things. Like, for me, I couldn't just sit around and just hear something like that. I couldn't sit around and hear my boss talking all crazy and me not saying anything.
Right.
Like, I just couldn't. But, you know, I'm in a different predicament than anybody. I don't have kids. I'm single. So it's like I don't really have any dependents. Right. So, you know, if I choose to set it off, I could set it off if I really wanted to. But, you know, it's other ways where you still can voice your opinion and let it be known. Write a letter or something like that. Right. You know what I mean? It's ways you can let it be known and not sit back and just have to take it and suck it up.
Even if it's internal, when you handle it in your home, you let your kids know about racism and what they can and don't have to stand. Right. Just because you move to a white community, don't make you, the struggle is over for you.
Right.
Because the struggle continues. Because your child has to go to school with a population that's not one of theirs. They have to learn different. They have to learn from that population. Also, like you have to learn. You have to vote like they vote. In order to have peace in your community, you have to vote like they vote.
Right.
And you have to live how they live.
Right.
Nobody have to live like that. You know, you don't have to live because they live wrong. You live wrong. Right. Just because they live wrong, your kids have to live wrong. That doesn't make it right. And that falls back to me and Bells went to an HBCU. You know, and I think both of us can say we're proud to attend the HBCU. Just because you attend a regular college or Georgia or Alabama, University of Georgia, University of Alabama, or Georgia Tech, doesn't make it right. Because at the end of the day, you have to have strength within. You know, it takes strength to walk away from a job and say that you're going to be an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. That's inner strength that's taught by your parents and within yourself, not a community, or not where your parents have moved you to, or what school you attend. But you have to have that within yourself.
Right.
So that's my thing about it.
Right. Right. So, you know, Paula Deen, this whole situation, you getting with, you know, hey,
get what you deserve.
You getting what you deserve. That's just the bottom line to it. Make better choices in the future. Hopefully, you're not teaching your grandkids anything like that. Hate towards any other race. You know, at some point, somebody in your family have to stop it. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can't continue to teach the hate generations after generations and thinking it's a joke. No, it's not a joke.
Right.
It's not a joke at all.
You're hurting families.
Right. You hurting families. So it's like, you know, for you to just try to take it so lightly, and then, you know, with the whole wedding thing, the wedding idea she told her brother about was a whole plantation like Gone with the Wind with black slaves basically dressed up, you know, back in the day as slaves being the servers. And who the fuck come up with that type of shit?
Right.
Somebody who definitely, you know, where it's slavery and things like that is embedded and accepted, you know, it's embedded in their brain and it's accepted in their communities or whatever. So it's like she just I think we don't have enough of her. Yeah, we don't have enough of her. We need to move on.
Sick of your ass, Paula. Right. We don't talk about you no more.
Right. But speaking on just racial issues, the differences in cultures, and the whole Trayvon Martin, excuse me, I'm eating an apple. I'm hungry, y'all, but
I'm hungry too.
Whatever. The Trayvon Martin situation, the case that's going on with him, you know, we've been looking at it. I've been trying to catch up like the last 2 days on some of the testimonies, like from the guy who saw everything out of his apartment window or whatever, and then really run out there to see what was going on. Right. And the Chinese guy who was supposed to be like the first person that actually walked out after the shooting outside. Just listening to their testimony or whatever. I'm just hoping that the prosecution at this point is somewhat having a difficult time proving their case. I mean, the defense is really doing a good job as far as the questions that they're asking, and, you know, just getting the right information that they need in order to, you know, prove their side and prove his innocence. Well, prove that he acted in self-defense. So I really need for the prosecution to step it up a bit. I don't know if they got some surprise witness or somebody that's going to just pop out of nowhere or whatever, but the witness that they did have, Miss Rachel Gentile,
which is an African American sister.
But she has Haitian and Dominican Republican roots or whatever, Haitian roots or whatever, from Miami, Florida. The whole situation with how our people just kind of dogged her out on social media because of the way she spoke and, you know, just the attitudes that she had the first day that she was on the stand. It was just really kind of sad. I mean, it was funny at the time, you know, watching her, but it was, you know, if you think about it, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking that we be so hard on ourselves. Like, we always quit to talk about one another. We always quit to just dog our sister and our brother out or whatever without thinking about, okay, where did she come from? What neighborhood she grew up in? You know, what's her level of highest level of education? Like, we don't take time out to think about stuff before we just lash out and give our 2 cents about it. What you want to say about it? I mean, poor Rachel.
Right.
I mean,
I think, like you said, piggyback on what you said. We are hard on on each other. Now I got to give it. Rachel did come with an aggressive attitude the first day that she testified, but she came back totally cleaned up the second day. Like you said, we had to give account to the community that where she was raised and how she was raised. Culturally, she wasn't raised in an environment to deal with. Apparently, in these situations, you know, she was raised to deal with the situation that comes to her in her neighborhood, and that happens with a lot of us African Americans, that we have issues that we have in our own community where we have to watch out for the crackhead, the robber, the person that's trying to get over on you. Not only going into the rest of America issues that we have going on. And this young lady was 19 years old, and she had to deal with all that. And she had to get in front of the nation and answer questions, question after question. I think she was interviewed for 5 hours, the same question over and over and over by a professional that's trained to misguide or mislead or catch what she does wrong and bring it back to her face. So I think we didn't take that into consideration. We went to criticize this young lady. And don't forget, when I say she's a young lady, she's a young lady that's from Haiti, which is another poor country of our people. And it was held back just like we were in America. Probably worse. I know much worse than we were. They come out much worse than we were. So I think we should take that in consideration. And also take in consideration that this man was told not to get out the car. This man was told not to follow this child.
Numerous
times. This man has called the police numerous of times on African Americans just because the color of their skin tone. You know, he did this. And we are this man, we as a people are looking at this, and they are trying to defend him on what he did or who started the fight. Actually, he started the fight because he was supposed to not get out the truck with a gun in his hand. This child was defenseless. Yeah, they want to remove. He had Skittles and iced tea in his. That's all he had in his hand. Skittles and the iced tea. This man had a loaded gun to kill. And what he did,
he been itching to kill somebody.
Right, and he killed this child. I don't care how you map it up or run it down.
It's the same thing. He killed this child.
He killed this child. He shouldn't have got out of his car, and this would have never happened. So to me, he's presumably guilty. Already.
So the self-defense thing, it should be just thrown out because
you brought it to yourself.
You went, like you said, you got out the car. The police told you don't get out the car. You got out the car anyway, following the guy. You should have let the police come and handle it. Not you
That doesn't make a community. He's called a community.
Right. How you gonna he's called
community watch person.
Yeah.
That's not the job of a community watch person.
Right.
You overstepped
neighborhood watch.
You overstepped your boundaries, sir.
Right. He went too far.
You should serve the time for
But you know, they say that he wanted to be a police officer, so he was just one of them people that was just itching.
Right.
Itching to shoot somebody.
Right.
Like almost like a corrupt cop.
Right.
Like if he was a cop, right, he probably would have, still used excessive force on Trayvon Martin, even if he was a legitimate cop. But for them to say self-defense, man, no, it was premeditated. You got out the car, you had that loaded gun on you.
Right.
You knew it was a young dude from the jump. Right. But later on you gonna say, I thought he was closer to my age. No, at first on the phone you told the 911 lady that he looks like a teenager. Right. Which he was. Right. So
and this can happen anywhere. From North Atlanta, Buckhead, up 400, Shelby County, in Birmingham, the suburbs. This could be any suburb in America that this happens to any young black male, and it's a sad situation.
It's a sad situation, but
we should be prepared for if he don't get proven guilty for this.
Right.
What would happen? What you think would happen?
Man, if that judge say not guilty, if them women come back and say not guilty,
6 women. All white.
1 Latino.
Okay.
It's just gonna be an uproar. They thought they saw uproar, when he first got shot, and how the people just came out and walked and supported. But it's probably gonna be a straight up riot. What people don't understand is like Florida and California, like they are heavily populated with immigrants and foreigners. That come from these third world countries who have to deal with with wars and rage and protests and stuff like that on a daily basis. Them people don't care about rioting. Them people don't care about gathering up. No, we're not inciting anything, but we just trying to keep it real. People don't care about. Nah, they're very passionate. When you're passionate about something, and especially injustice, like people are liable to do anything. So it's like. Hopefully, America, justice prevail. America be ready. The state of Florida be ready. You know what I mean? Have all the,
tools in place,
and the servicemen or police or whatever ready just in case something pop off. But it's just gonna be a sad situation if this man is found not guilty. It's just,
and it's not gonna take a day. It's not gonna be over in a day. It's gonna fester. Mm-hmm. That this young man, that this old man has killed this young man and gotten off on it. Right. And I think
and Paula Deen calling niggas.
Right.
It's just not the right. It's just too much racist stuff going on, and it keep, like you said, every year is something else. Right. As far as racial
we talk about
a race war may actually happen one day because it just not. Incite anything, but I'm just keeping it real, man. It's just too much of it.
Right. Lately. How much can we take?
How much can we take? It's like, come on now. Right. So, hopefully Zimmerman is found guilty. Justice will be served. He will go to jail. They're probably gonna have him in his own little cell block. Because they gonna try to get him in jail too.
I don't care how you serve the time, but serve the time that you supposed to serve for killing this young man.
Right.
And I think it's a sad situation, and I think it's a wake up call for us as Americans and Black Americans. Just like we discussed in the last about voter rights, we got to get out there and vote, because these people that we are putting in place are letting people like this man go, this killer. Mm-hmm. They're letting Paula Deen get away with what they want them to get away with. It's kind of like the 60s without the hanging. Right. They're hanging us without the rope no more. Right. They're hanging us with credit. as we speak all the time about financial. The hang-ups with credit and financial situations. So we have to be aware.
The hang-ups with the jobs. You know, it's just like Kanye say, the new slaves, man.
Yeah.
Y'all have to pay attention. It's just deeper than. It's deeper and it's very widespread. You just have to pay. You have to pay attention. We're not trying to come off as no
militant,
black militants or nothing. Don't get us wrong.
But these are true.
And Stacks Magazine, though, we are a even kill magazine. Right. We ain't no pro-black or nothing like that. So let me make that disclaimer. But you know, it's just certain situations just keep happening where racial issues are coming up, and at some point it's going to have to be a very national discussion about it. Right. It's going to have to be maybe some new laws or something is going to happen, because it's just so people just getting really just frustrated, and it ain't necessarily between black and white. It's between straight and gay. It's between, you know, Americans and immigrants, you know, foreigners. So it's like it's a lot of just division within the races. Tea parties. You got our white brothers that have a mind state that think that America is giving their country away. It's not the country that they once grew up in. You're right, it's not the country that you grew up in, because the country that you grew up in didn't tell you the truth. Now it's coming to the point that they can't even defend the Tea Party people, and they're getting upset about what's going on in America. And I think it like you said, it's a sad situation, and I hope we work it out as Americans. I'm a proud American, born and raised Cooper Green Hospital, Jefferson County. Lord. I was a county baby. Who cares? All y'all county babies, stand up. County babies, stand up. Yes. Well, yeah. You're stupid. But yeah, so we just wanted to make a separate little special edition video to talk about Paula Deen and Trayvon Martin. If y'all have any questions or anything like that, or just something you want to say, definitely leave comments under the blog. You can email us at info@stacksmag.net if you got a special question that you want us to answer on the next video. Excuse me, on the next video. Definitely reach out to us. Again, thanks everybody who's been watching our videos. We appreciate y'all very much, and we'll have our Instagram, Twitter names that you can follow us also on in the comments, in the notes section under the blog. So, until next week, y'all have a happy 4th of July.
Safe.
And be safe.